that Christians don't hold themselves at an accountable standard for the lies that they believe in. They shift blame to that person, they shift blame to something else. And before you jump into the comments defending them, listen up. I have the perfect story for you. So I was on a transportation and this lady was ministering, right? Telling people about Jesus. So she locked her sights on this guy and started to, I would say, target him because she was beating down Jesus down on his throat. Till eventually this guy started to, started to tell her some stuff. He started to answer back. He said, you know what? There is no savior that ever walks the earth that is called Jesus, right? She looked at him and she said, she is just spreading the gospel. So he came back at her with a very good response. Again, he said, that is a false gospel. Because based on the fact that, and he laid down some things for her to go and research for herself, right? He said to her, first of all, Constantine changed a lot of stuff, right? And that name that you are calling on is one of them that Constantine introduced to the masses. Second, the Roman Catholic Church is responsible for allowing a lot of this deception to go on because they continue to teach your pastors and your pastors continue to regurgitate these things, calling it gospel. And there was a lot of things that this brother, he was dropping some gems, okay? This lady, instead of her looking into things and saying, you know what? I am not sure about these things, but I will go and research it. Or I've never heard about these things. She instead shift blame. You know what? My reverend taught me this gospel, so this is the gospel that I am preaching. Like, seriously, lady. She did not humble herself to say, you know what? I will look into these things. You know what? I will do my due diligence and make sure that whatever I am preaching is actually the truth. No, absolutely no accountability whatsoever. She immediately shifted blame. I am just preaching the gospel, as if to say, even though she is in the deception, because she is preaching the gospel, he should accept it, even though he told her it is a false gospel. This young man eventually realized that he was getting nowhere with her. So he looked at her and he said, get some spiritual insight. Go and pray about it. Pray that your spiritual eyes shall be opened and this revelation, these things that I am saying, if these are so or not, and really get the truth for yourself spiritually. She still insisted this is the gospel that her reverend taught her. So that is the note that the conversation between them two ended on. So the thing is, a lot of people, what this young man told them to do, I have told them the very same thing. Pray about it and seek spiritual insight so your eyes can be opened regarding this information. At some later point in time, I would see these persons again and ask them, have you prayed about it? Have you prayed about it? They would say, yes, I prayed, but I didn't pray about that. I mean, what are they afraid of? They pray about everything else except that question. I have never seen any Christian say, oh, I have prayed about it, and he said it's not that deep. But what I have seen is Christians running from going to pray about that very question. What are they afraid of? They didn't want their spiritual eyes to be opened. They didn't want the truth. Right? So I can bear witness to this. A lot of people, when you tell them, you know what, pray for spiritual revelation regarding these things, right? If you don't believe our word for it, that your pastor or your reverend or minister have, you know, given you a false bashura. So when will these Christians start holding themselves and others at accountability? When they go around knowing that they have not studied to show themselves approved, they refuse to pray for their spiritual eyes to be opened so that they can be of the understanding that this was the divine correction that they have received, not just only a word of mouth from someone else correcting them. When will you hold yourselves at accountability for the lies that you believe in?